Hi, everyone. I wanted to go through the Newberry College activity paper rubric, just so you know how your grades are being calculated. When you start your paper, you find out based on the description in Wolfden under the activity paper guidelines, the content or the questions that need to be answered. So when you do your research, when you get down to writing the paper, sometimes students get confused as to which parts need to be in the paper, in the final paper. So when you look at the rubric up here at the very top, it says title page, and the title page is worth 5 points. And there you're going to have the activity project title, your name, the professor, the college, the course, the date. And as long as there's no errors and you have all that information there and it's centered with a running head, then you're going to get the full 5 points. You can see here it says meet standard with less than 2 errors, you get 4 points. Nearly meets the standard, less than 3 errors, you get 3 points. And if it does not meet the standard, it's because you had more than 3 errors. The next part is the abstract. An abstract is completes an overview of the total paper. You should get this from your conclusion. And typically your abstract is going to be between 75 to 200 words. It is single spaced right after the word abstract, which is centered at the top of the page, and then double spaced after that. If you do that appropriately, it's between 75 and 200 words, and it does do a complete overview, then you get the full 5 points. As you can see, meets the standard, it's 4 points. You see the criteria there, 3 points, and then 1 point. Your introduction should be approximately 1 paragraph, and it should address the topic and the main idea completely. If you do that, you get 5 points. You can see meet standard 4, 3, and 1. The content is worth 50 points, and that means that you've addressed all the activity paper key criterion. You've provided the research information, and it's accurate and relevant. It connects ideas from the research that you've done to address the activity paper questions, and the clarity is easy to read and understand without guessing what you're trying to say. As long as you look at and see what the 2 or 3 main questions are for the activity paper topic, this is that section here. And if you do that, you're going to get all 50 points. If you meet most of the criteria, you see where it's 40 points. If you minimally met the criteria, it's 30 points. And if you did not meet, there's 20 points or less. Your conclusion is worth 5 points. It's approximately 1 paragraph, and it recaps what your paper was trying to research, and the conclusions that you've drawn should be in a third person throughout the paper. And you should restate the main ideas and summarize subpoints that leave the reader with an interesting final impression of what you've done. If you do that, that's worth 5 points. Again, meets the standard is 4 points. Conclusion is present, but it's not complete. That's 3. And if there's no conclusion, you only get 1 point. You can see here, I want to put your mind at ease. The writing mechanics, grammar, spelling, punctuation, and clarity. It's only 10 points. So as from my previous emails and announcements, Dr. J and I are not English professors. We're RRTs. We're respiratory therapists that believe that if you're going to have a BSRT credential, you need to be able to write on that level. So if you have very few errors, okay, and you visually checked your paper for errors, you've checked for syntax and grammar, spelling, punctuation, usage, mechanics, organization, and clarity is at the highest level, you're going to get all full 10 points. I use a program called Grammarly.com. Your Microsoft Word products, they also have a spell check and grammar check. Use that before submitting, and then take one more final visualization as to what you're trying to accomplish and make sure that it's what you want. Look at it as a treatment, a ventilator check. You're going to make sure that before you leave that patient, the settings are exactly what you want and the patient's responding the way you want them to respond, and that if anybody came up to the ventilator, it would be a clear picture of what the physician wanted and what you feel as the respiratory therapist is being set and is appropriate for that patient. You can see the meet standard is 7 points. There is some word processing and spelling grammar tools being used, but there are some issues. Nearly meets the standard is 5 points. This shows that there's evidence of minimal review for spelling and grammar errors. This is, again, if you just run a spell check on your paper, you should be able to at least get to the 7 points. If you have lots of issues, you're going to be down here at the 3 points. References and citations, that's 10 points. When you get to the baccalaureate level, master's level, doctoral level, it's really important that you give credit where it's due. And I've listed the criteria here, and if you do everything that's listed right here, you're going to get the 10 points. If you have some errors, but you mostly followed the APA format, you're going to get 7 points. So again, this is re-emphasizing that Dr. J and I are not English professors. We're RRTs that are trying to make sure that we are writing at a professional level. 5 points, references are present, but there's some real significant, incomplete, unclear areas where references or citations should have been there. Or if you do not have any references whatsoever, you're going to get 0 points. Timeliness, 5 points. If you submit the paper prior to the due date, our papers are due on Sunday evening at 11:59 p.m. If you submit it any time prior to that, you'll get all 5 points. If you submit it within 12 hours post the due date, you'll only lose 1 point. If it's between 12 to 24 hours post date, then you'll get 3 points. And if it's greater than 24 hours, you'll miss the full 5 points. So I wanted to break down that when we grade a paper, this is what we're looking at, okay? And if you look at your assignment, you find out what the activity paper criterion is, you follow that, you answer the questions, you put your paper through a spell check, you put it through a grammar check, you use something like Grammarly.com, and you try your very best to make sure that you give credit where it's due, and you follow the template that I'm going to be doing another video on, you should get all the points necessary. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Just send me an email, and I hope this video helps.